Welcome to the Fit Summit Entrepreneurs Network. Today we are joined together with James Theos, the founder of TECHNIQ Training in Singapore. James not only is the owner of the business, but he's also a very big, great friend of mine. So I am so happy and honored to be doing this interview with James. Hi, James. How are you today?
Hi. Wow, what an intro. I'm good. I'm good. I'm a little sleepy, but I'm good. I've had my coffee. I'm fired up. I'm ready, Sarah.
It's the afternoon time in Singapore. It's 4:05 p.m. So thank you so much for doing the interview at this time. Before we start off, James, I want to ask you, tell us a little bit more about TECHNIQ and what is it all about?
Yeah, I'll try and summarize it as quickly as I can. I've been in fitness now for a good part of a decade. Come from a PT background, originally from Sydney. I launched a F45 about 4 to 5 years ago in Hong Kong. That did quite well. But then I looked for a new challenge after obviously that business, and my passion really lies in strength and conditioning. Obviously, barbell movements, conditioning in terms of different energy systems is a bit of a passion of mine. So I went on this search for what else is out there in the fitness realms, and I couldn't really find a product or a franchise or business that I really resonated with. And what I decided was to have a crack at doing my own thing. But that's after a franchise. So opening a franchise definitely does give you a lot of assistance around the branding, the framework, the software, the operations, the system, the processes. And I had a bit of an understanding of how to go about that from F45. So then I sold that business and then decided to launch TECHNIQ. So TECHNIQ is in a way a bit of a hybrid between a PT experience, so what you'd get with a one-on-one trainer, and a group class, let's say like an F45 circuit class. So essentially you get a very personalized experience in a small group setting. And the structure is designed to be progressive. What I mean by that is training sessions get harder slowly over time. It's very, the program is very simplistic in the fact that we base our programming off 5 or 6 main movements, and then supplementing some conditioning accessory work. But it's designed for the busy person who wants to get in a good workout that's also progressive, intelligent, it's not going to get hurt, focus around movement integrity, so making sure they're moving well without paying the price for PT. Obviously, I'm sure PT in Singapore, Hong Kong, even in Sydney can get really expensive. So finding a bit of a happy medium where you are getting that structured approach to your training, and obviously it being fairly affordable is something that I want to create. So TECHNIQ came about.
Thank you so much, James, for sharing it in a nutshell. I obviously can advocate for TECHNIQ because I'm a fellow member of TECHNIQ and I've been there, I've enjoyed myself. So like whatever you mentioned, it is for people who want to try personal training in a group setting and also, enjoying the perks of personal training, but obviously in a group setting. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Sure.
Now let's move on to our first question. I am very excited for the first question. And I want to ask you, what was the driving force for creating your business? And has your vision changed in the past couple of months?
It's really to scratch my own itch. I came from a corporate background, so I was in sales, a very stressful, very cutthroat, very high pressure environment for many years back in Sydney. And I love fitness, but I just could never really leave that corporate job to get into fitness. So obviously, money in sales is great, and you kind of get sucked into that kind of rat race, and how much money you can make, and how good you are, and all this kind of stuff. And I was always like, yes, I'm a sales guy, I'm not a fitness guy. And but being that sales guy, being in that high pressure environment means that you need to perform, you need to be at your best day in, day out, and having a healthy lifestyle is going to complement that. So as a busy professional who's obviously doing well financially but is very time poor, having a PT didn't make sense to me. I thought, why would I be spending hundreds of dollars for a session? So I thought, as a busy professional, would it be great to have some kind of structured training system where you can just show up, have people, do it for you, or do all the programming, all that hard work for you. You show up, do the workout, and you leave. But it's not just a cookie cutter thing where you just go in and follow the TVs. I mean, no offense to F45, it's a great product and it's a great product for a certain type of person. But for somebody who wants a lot more structure in their training and that is actually very focused on a result, like I want to get stronger, I want to improve my deadlift, I want to add X amount of muscle to my frame, I want to be able to, sprint 100 meters in X time. Like with people with goals and that want that structure to their training, it didn't exist. So I thought if I was continuing my corporate lifestyle and I didn't get into fitness and deviate, I would join TECHNIQ. I'd buy this stuff. Like I actually would definitely put my money where my mouth is. So I just didn't see it in the market. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I haven't been to enough countries or enough places in the world and haven't seen it. Or I know there are some people dabbling in this space where it's a bit of a small group setting, personalized. But I haven't seen any kind of major plays in it. But I mean, that could be in my little box too much. So we'll see.
Thank you so much for sharing that, James. I understand. Like, I completely agree with you. We've had this conversation before about how there was a gap in the market, and you've been trying to actually fill the gap. And it is obviously not here in Singapore at least. So when you actually brought this model to now the fitness setting, it obviously took off and had a lot of positive reviews. So thank you so much for sharing that. Moving on to the next question, which you kind of dabbled a little bit. What big problem are you trying to solve internally that could transform your business externally?
Okay, so the honest answer to that. So the first thing comes, I try not to script too much. I try to just kind of shoot from the hip. But the first thing that comes to mind is how can a business like mine create content, quality content en masse for cheap? So how do I create content for Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, email, WhatsApp? How do I just keep creating quality content that's engaging, that's contextual to the user or our target market en masse for cheap? Like that's, apart from hiring someone internally just to create content and then someone who does the advertising, scheduling, posting, or distribution, or both, those kind of roles are hard to find and fill. And I know that a lot of businesses, especially smaller businesses, probably struggle because they just don't have the bandwidth or the capacity or the funding to be able to do this. But if you're not consistently creating unique, engaging, quality content, you are nothing to no one. And in my opinion, if I could probably wave my wand and create, a little internal marketing genius machine that could shoot, copy video, take photos, edit graphics, create content, write well, copy, be engaged in the business, be passionate about what we do, and at an affordable price tag, it's not going to break the business. Then fantastic. But usually you have someone that shoots the video, takes the photos, someone who edits the photos, edits the video, someone who posts on Instagram, someone who does emails, someone like it's just so many moving parts and pieces that it's really hard for small businesses to be able to solve that problem.
Thank you so much for sharing that, James. I like how you actually mentioned content, which is definitely lacking in the industry, which you are also doing. Great point that you actually, went on straight on. Next question, risk versus reward. How do you balance your mindset around risk, opportunities, and investments?
So I think people have to have a very honest conversation with themselves around business. If you're the type of person who has the audacity and you have the somehow, like I think every business owner has ego. I mean, it's very, for someone to go out there and create their own brand, like there has to be some kind of ego there in a way. Like I try and kill ego as much as I can, but at the end of the day, we all have one. But if you're the kind of person who wants to open a business and go out there and say, fuck it, sorry, can I swear? Is that bad? Can I go out there and create my own product that people want to buy and solve a problem? Then yeah, you need to put it on the line. You're going to have to risk money. Now I don't know the whole world of, you know, raising capital, and it's just not, I'm not privy to it. I don't understand it. I just, you know, I'm more like, you know, save your money, make your money, spend your own money. Yeah, like the market's going to be your, you know, it's going to dictate your success. And if you want to go out there and create a business, then you need to be aware of the risks with that most businesses fail. If you're not putting the time, energy, and effort in every day to propel your business forward and move the needle, then it's going to fail. It's just, it is what it is. Like you can't sit back and just let your business go and it succeeds. There are very few stories, success stories that I know of where that's happened. So if you want to open a business, then there's risk. If you don't want to take on that risk, then don't open a business. Maybe open a franchise. Franchise is a great way to dabble in business, but not take all the risk on yourself. But if you want to do it on your own and create a brand, then yes, it takes some balls and courage. But look, I mean, one of the best things for me is I don't have to answer to anyone. I don't have, apart from my landlord. You know, I don't have a boss telling me what to do. I don't have someone dictating terms. You know, part of the reasons why I didn't love being in a franchise was there was the powers that be, and by all means, those powers that be probably know more than I do. And I knew my place in that franchise. But I think when you get out of that, then you have the freedom and flexibility to do you, and to do something that you're probably more passionate about. Yeah, so balancing that. If you're someone who can't breathe with, you know, having someone looking upon them and dictating terms, and just try it. But try and use your own money, because if you start using others, then you may not value it as much, and you may not do whatever it takes to make it succeed.
True. I have to agree. I think you have to have some skin in the game if you want to have your own business, which you've successfully done it. So thanks for sharing that. You know,
We've just launched. We just launched. 2 months.
No, but
bloody
it's
2
been
months.
good.
It's a good 2 months.
It's been good.
It's been a great, I mean, apart from the mini lockdown, it's been a solid 2 months. It's been a good so yeah, just yeah, head down, keep going, all good.
Yeah, I would positively advocate for your business. I've had the pleasure of being part of your starting journey, and now it's well, so I can speak that it has been successful. So, you know, you got to take the credit when you are given, you know, James.
Thank you.
We move on to our
Appreciate it.
last question.
Sure.
It can be lonely at the top. How do you cope with this?
I never really understood what this meant until I opened a business. I hear about it, and then you open a business, you're like, wow, this does get lonely. I guess just finding a network of like-minded people that you can talk to, and not necessarily people that are like maybe ahead of you, or, you know, that are entrepreneurs themselves, or that are, it could be just a bunch of really sweet, dedicated, loving people that you respect and admire, and that can, you know, you can support each other through, you know, hard times. I'm a bit different. I'd say I'm a bit weird in ways. Like, I kind of get in my own head, and if I'm in a bit of a dark place, I just want to stay in that dark place and get through myself. Like, I don't like, for instance, right now, right, we're going through a mini lockdown, and I'm not mentally in the best of mind. You know, I'm usually much stronger when I'm like, you know, kicking goals, we're driving the needle forwards, where, you know, we know exactly what we need to do, and I'm in a much more positive mindset. But right now, it's a bit like, I don't know what's going to happen. We're going to open, we're not. It's kind of like a bit of a limbo, and I just internalize it. I kind of get within my own head, and I sometimes find getting out there and talking to others doesn't help me, because it just aggravates me more about the situation. I'm doing everything I can to control what I can, and I just need to kind of like, you know, leave it at that. So for me, I'm okay with it. Others, if you really need that network, then create it. You know, create your environment. So in times of strife, there are a select handful of people that I can kind of talk to about what I need to do. But apart from that, just create the environment that you think you need in order to succeed.
Thanks, James, for sharing that. That was really
Did that
sweet.
answer the, did that answer the
Yeah,
question?
you did. It was really authentic, and I think it came from the heart. So I appreciate that such comments.
Cool.
Moving on to our last question. If you had one piece of advice to someone just starting out or building a business, what would it be?
Burn the ships. Yeah, don't I think I probably touched on it earlier. Don't try not to use borrowed money. Try and, obviously maybe borrow money ish or from a bank or something, but I wouldn't be too quick to get investors on board. You just don't want to start your first business with an F. Like, I know it's kind of hard because most businesses don't succeed, but try to like work your face off in that first business, so then you kind of build a bit of credibility and trust within your circle of friends, network, whatever industry. Because like, let's say if you open your first business and a resounding success, then you have a bit of reputational credibility in the industry, and people might look upon you and go, oh, this person did something great, so maybe we can support him on his next endeavor or whatever it might be. So I think the loss does stay with you, and you don't want to take on a lot of money from others and lose it and just be kind of, it's not my money, fuck it. I don't think that's a good way of doing business. So I would just suggest like, try and borrow money, use your own money, and burn the ships. Like, if you're like, I've mortgaged my house to pay for this business, you're going to make it work because you kind of have to. There's no other choice. So I really do believe in that. But that's my opinion, right? I'm sure there's others that have succeeded by, in other ways. So, yeah.
Thanks, James, for being so authentic and answering my questions all patiently. Do you have any final words to say to everyone watching this interview, especially in Singapore or even in any parts of the world, right? Do you have any final words?
No, I think, hopefully this whole COVID thing can pass and we can get back to some, normality soon. Get vaccinated. I don't know. That's about it. Was that too
I think
political?
that's a very powerful message. Thank you so much, James.
No worries, Sarah. Thank you. Have a lovely day. See you.